Hello, my name is Liz Juarez and I am a graduate student at Arizona State University studying communication. For my proposed research study and future capstone project, I would like to research how emerging technologies such as computer-mediated communication, referred to as CMC, affect human interactions. In 2015, the average American spent 5.6 hours a day using digital media, such as computer, tablets, and smartphones, which is an increase of almost 3 hours daily since 2008. Individuals can often be spotted communicating at all hours of the day through their cell phones, whether it's texting, calling, emailing, or messaging through social media applications, which brings us to the purpose of this research project. Are electronic devices having a negative effect on human interconnectivity? Moving forward, we must examine what those implications might be. Many of the research in this topic will showcase that CMC has a clear negative effect, contradictory to that of FTF interactions. From the literature review mentioned in my paper, new findings that focus on more samples of individuals in different age groups and different stages of life will help add significant contributions to our hypothesis. My literature review focuses on studies that have observed and surveyed interactions between young adults, but also within adults, individuals, and romantic partnerships, among families, and around the world. Many of these studies have proven that they have found a negative effect in the increased use of CMC. By focusing on the interactions that individuals experience through electronic communication and face-to-face interactions, we can get a more rounded perspective on the different experiences as well as positive and negative effects that emerging technologies can have on human interactions. Kaplan and High investigate studies in which individuals experience problematic internet use that often results in negative outcomes. While Matusitz contends that the amount of human interaction caused by the internet depends on each individual user, it might be higher online than offline and vice versa. Age can also play a huge factor on whether CMC affects different age groups. For example, in families and in older adults, research has shown that mobile phone use can be seen as inappropriate in FTF interactions as a result of a social phenomenon called phubbing. The act of phubbing, or glancing at a phone during a face-to-face interaction, can be offensive and disruptive to older adults that can cause lower levels of life satisfaction and disrupt family time. Speaking of life satisfaction, in countries like China, studies investigated whether internet communication can improve quality of life. To their surprise, they found that internet communication cannot predict the quality of life, while face-to-face communication with friends and family members can. Moving on to the dating world, CMC seems to also show a negative effect. Individuals who first start dating may be distrustful and prefer a face-to-face setting than through CMC. As cited, maintaining interpersonal relationships through technology rather than in person can have a negative effect on couples. For many of the results in this literature review, we can guess that individuals who constantly use and communicate through CMC are likelier to experience a negative impact than through face-to-face interaction. We must ask, how does the frequent use of CMC affect certain individuals, and what degree of a negative impact does each individual experience with their frequent use of CMC? In order to conduct the study, the use of quantitative research would seem to be the most effective. With an electronic survey, several critical and important questions could be given and answered. It would help gather that numerical data and help reach a large number of participants. The participants in this age group would vary from occupation to ages, gender, relationship status. It would focus on the amount of time they communicate, whether it's through a mobile device or face-to-face interactions, and what their moods and feelings are and what they're experiencing at those certain times. To see the study through, the survey would have to be created through a medium such as a SurveyMonkey and issued out through many mediums like email, word of mouth, and text. To conclude, it is clear that more research is needed in order to gather data that can help explain whether individuals who communicate through CMC can and cannot have a negative impact. As of right now, the data is a bit conflicting. By conducting surveys that deal with a broader age group as well as looking into family dynamics, work environment, and relationships, we can begin to connect correlations and variables that either leave a negative or positive impact in individuals through computer-mediated devices.